Hey guys, well, lots been going on here at the homestead. You'll notice my new truck has the hood open. I'll get to that. Sold a Silverado, the old one. This is a Silverado as well. I happen to like these. I sold the old one yesterday. So I got money to fix this. The reason I haven't made any videos in 2-3 days is because this had a leaking gas tank. And oh boy, it was bad. So that's the case that was underneath the gas tank, and somebody had put tar and goop in there. What a mess. So I bought a new gas tank, but it was the wrong one. Not my fault. They sent me the wrong one. So then I bought another gas tank, and of course I have no transportation now, so I've been having people help me. This is the old gas tank. And also, what caused me to discover all of these issues is that the fuel pump quit. One day the truck drove, the next day it didn't. So I replaced the fuel pump. Somebody helped me get a fuel pump in here. And the thing was, I figured since the gas tank is leaky as well, I may as well. It wasn't bad, it was just moist on the bottom. But I figured, let's just do this right. If I have to take out the fuel pump, I might as well do it all properly and not put a new fuel pump in a rutting old tank and have to do it again soon after. So I got another one, which was, we already covered that. So now I have a new tank, but they gave me the wrong straps. So I have it temporarily held up with one of the old straps and a tie-down strap for now. I have to get the proper one when I get the vehicle back together. Here is a hole that was previously cut in the deck, and this was under a pile of leaves that I didn't know there was a hole there, so I'm very thankful I cleaned that out and found out the only thing holding that metal plate in place was tar and duct tape. Yes, duct tape was holding my truck together. So I am going to find or manufacture a replacement cover for this. I do have a Harbor Freight metal brake, and I plan on, if I have to, manufacturing the proper cover for this. And if I can, I'd like to find an old junk Chevy 1500 and cut a larger plate out of that bed to overlap a ways and build myself a much better, more reliable and safe cover for that and keep the elements out of my fuel pump. So that's the plans, long-term plans. For today, I'm just trying to get this to work. Old-timers being old-timers, instead of replacing the bad fuel pump relay, which was here, with the proper one, which would have looked like this, old-timers grab whatever they happen to have on hand and cobble it in. And that's what I am dealing with. Now I have the issue of an intermittent connection on this. It could be the relay itself is bad. It could be the hack job of gluing that into the fuse block. Not pretty at all. Not at all. So I am trying to decide if I want to just cut all this out. And I don't know, because that is a nightmare, really. I mean, it could be anything down in here bad just as well as the relay or any of these wires here. And it's all gooped up pretty thick. I really don't want to start tearing into here, because then I'm going to have to hack job something else, because who knows what kind of damage is done in here from his hack job. So something here is intermittent. So I've pulled the relay, and here's my issue. This is a non-standard relay, and it's unfortunate. It happens to be probably what he had around. So the socket is non-standard. I fortunately, actually probably it was a gift from a viewer long ago, have a really beautiful thing here with a long wire. It's probably about 6 foot of wire. And it's a standard relay, which means it can be swapped out if this relay goes bad. So if I hardwire this one in place of that one, then I can always swap out the relay later. And I've already checked it because I have another standard relay that fits that socket. This is non-standard, so if it's the relay, then I have no way of finding out because it's intermittent. It relay can be intermittent. But I'm checking when I turn on the ignition, I do get momentary power to this one pin here. So up to here at least, I'm getting the momentary power that I'm supposed to. That is supposed to turn on the fuel pump and prime it. So I'm still troubleshooting. We'll figure that out. And later when I'm done, I'll show you how to test a fuel pump to see if it itself is defective. I have here on my phone a standard wiring diagram from the GMC truck. And this is not even wired in according to standard wiring diagram. Oh boy. Well, here's what's driving me insane. I just pulled the air conditioner relay just for comparison, and I got this wonderful idea of popping this in here. But they're not the same. And I don't want to fry my computer by popping in the wrong thing. So when I said a non-standard relay, although it's got the same pinouts, this is just missing one that was non-necessary. I mean the same pins on the bottom. The diagram, the pinout locations are different. And that's bad. Now, my standard relay actually has the pins in the same place. It's just got different connectors on the bottom. But the wiring diagram is the same. And so I can't just swap out this relay with another and test it because it's not the same. So I'm having a nightmare of a time trying to figure out what's what here. I'm going to have to get down in here because I absolutely don't want to blow the computer. I'm not even sure that this is wired right for the relay he has in here, and I don't even know how it was even working at all when it did work. Pin 30 is supposed to be 12 volts according to the normal circuits. And that would put us on the bottom right. But actually this is the ECM output for the momentary primer surge from the computer going to the pump. Well, the sun's coming around and I found something ugly. That looks like corrosion. It's hard to see under here, but I'm thinking that that is the problem with my pump not working. Now I've heard that these sockets in the fuse block, in the relay block, are notorious for overheating and melting down. I guess there's a lot of current comes through here. And I guess that even an add-in relay socket can self-destruct. The good thing is the one I have here has way heavier wires on it. So I'm going to put this one in its place and we should be back on the road. Okay, without confusing myself, I did not use the camera here. One at a time. This one had an extra wire. I have no idea what he was doing. One at a time, I clipped the wire off here. I used a voltmeter to find out orange is always hot, black is always ground. And by turning on the key and off all the time, I found that the green comes from the computer and the gray goes to the fuel pump, which is actually the right color, surprisingly. So I wired in and I didn't cut my wires. I'm going to neaten this up when I'm done. I left it long so I could set this here and I could hear a nice distinct click. Let's check that. I'm going to put the key in the ignition and you listen, you'll hear a happy click. Did you hear that click? Let's do it again. Nice distinct click. I don't know if you can hear it. It's clicking. Now I'll take you over back to the fuel pump and you can hear the fuel pump kick on. Now I have to set the camera down and turn the key. So hopefully you'll hear it when I turn the key. a nice happy 1 second buzz of that pump. I hope you heard it. Now, I've taped everything temporarily. I'm going to solder these connections and then retape them and then heat shrink them. But first, I'm going to start this engine. So I've got this hanging here. I'm going to neaten up my wires and I'm going to start my engine. And we should be running. Just make sure nothing's going to connect in anything here. I've got the charger on the batteries because I was spinning this for a while and I don't want to drain anything, wreck my batteries. Let me clear off all my tools and we should be able to fire this truck up. Now, we should be able to start the truck. I hear the pump. And we have power. Truck runs. Whew! That was a few days of work. The worst of it was replacing the gas tank and the fuel pump because I got the wrong parts all the time. And that takes time to get, especially when you have no transportation. Well, guys, success. In case I forget to say it, while my soldering iron heats up, I've got my heat shrink tubing here. I'm going to do a separate video on how to diagnose a possibly dead fuel pump. And so watch for that later on. Right now I just need to get this all put together properly and cleaned up. Connections are soldered. I got heat shrink tubing on them. I got to get the heat gun and heat them up. And then I'm going to tape them as well. Just in case any of those wires ever wear through the heat shrink tubing, I'm going to have tape as well. And then I'm going to bundle the whole batch up. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, that part's done. Now I'm going to tape each one individually, just to be extra safe. Okay, now they're extra safe. Now I'm going to route this through the fuse box and get that closed. The guy had a slit in the side, so I'm going to run them out and get that closed up. And then I'll coil up the wires and mount this new relay somewhere in here. Now this stuff seems to be holding and these connections seem to work, so I don't want to mess with them down in here. So, some of you are going to mock me, some of you are going to hate on me. This is, well, I didn't know if I want to show this or not, but I will. I'm going to use a glue gun. Again, this already works just fine. None of these wires are loose on me. I want to keep it that way. So, instead of messing with all that, and I don't have whatever that goop is on hand, I don't know what it is, by the way. If you do know, please tell me. It's strong. That goop is amazing. It's really strong. But I want to be extra sure this is never coming apart. Since it works, let's keep it that way. So I'm going to put the hot glue on there before I mess with these wires and start torquing on them to wrap them around and out. Oh boy. Just imagine the comments already. I can preemptively answer one already. If there's heat in here, enough to melt the glue, we have another problem besides melting glue. So cut that one off. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me, well, it gets hot in the engine compartment. If it gets that hot in my fuse block, I've got another severe issue to deal with besides melting glue. Now, I like to do that for strain relief on the wires because they're all bending through here now. I want to take all the strain off here from every time I need to change fuses and move these around here. See, I can move this here and it's not affecting here. I really don't want to disturb that ever. As long as that lasts for me, I don't want to disturb that goop down in there. So, I'll put the cover on and we'll run these wires somewhere and we should be done. Oh, I forgot to clip the tabs. Well, there it is, guys. If I had clipped the tabs, I think you'd barely even notice that I did anything in here. Nice and neat. I kept the wires long in case I ever need to do anything with this. If I ever need to cut that off, if the socket burns or anything happens, I kept the wires on there. And I'm going to buy one of those cheap Harbor Freight voltmeters and keep it in the truck from now on. It's a good learning experience to keep a meter on you at all times. Just in case anything down in there goes bad in that block where the original relay was supposed to be. But, well, that's it for in here. Let's fire it up and see how it goes. One more time. I hear it kicking on. Beautiful. Alright guys, well, troubleshooting and replacing a old GMC or Chevy fuel pump relay. Quite a job, especially when somebody hacked it up beforehand. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't. You never know what's coming to the homestead tomorrow. Talk to you all later.